Section T6B covers semiconductors, the active devices that make modern electronics possible. We'll cover diodes, or one-way current flow, and transistors, switching and amplification. You need to know electrode names, markings, and basic operating principles. What is true about forward voltage drop in a diode? A. It is lower in some diode types than in others. The forward voltage drop varies by diode type because it depends on the semiconductor material. Germanium diodes drop 0.25 to 0.3 volts, silicon diodes 0.7 volts, and LEDs 1.4 volts or more depending on color. This is a design characteristic, not a defect. It does reduce the voltage available to the load. What electronic component allows current to flow only in one direction? C. A diode. A diode is a semiconductor that conducts current in one direction only, from an anode to a cathode. This one-way property makes diodes essential for rectification, converting AC to DC, and circuit protection. A resistor limits current in both directions. A fuse protects against overcurrent. A driven element is part of an antenna. Which of these components can be used as an electronic switch? C. A transistor. A transistor has 3 terminals and can act as an electronic switch. A small current or voltage at the control terminal, base for BJT, gate, or FET, controls a larger current flow between the other 2 terminals. A varistor is for surge protection. A potentiometer adjusts resistance, and a thermistor changes resistance with temperature. Which of the following components can consist of 3 regions of semiconductor material? A. Transistor. A bipolar junction transistor, or BJT, consists of 3 regions of semiconductor material arranged as either NPN or PNP. These 3 regions create 2 PN junctions. The 3 regions correspond to the 3 terminals: emitter, base, and collector. A triode is a vacuum tube, not a semiconductor device. What type of transistor has a gate, drain, and source? B. Field effect. A field effect transistor, or FET, has 3 terminals called gate, drain, and source. The gate controls current flow between drain and source using the electric field, hence field effect. This is different from BJT, which has base, collector, and emitter, terminals controlled by current. How is the cathode lead of a semiconductor diode often marked on the package? A. With a stripe. The cathode of a diode is typically marked with a stripe, or band, on the component package. This simple visual indicator shows which end of the cathode, telling you which direction the current can flow. Current flows from anode to cathode, so the stripe marks the end where the current exits. What causes a light-emitting diode, or LED, to emit light? B. Forward current. An LED emits light when forward current flows through it. As electrons cross the PN junction in the forward direction, they release energy in the form of photons, or light. The color depends on the semiconductor material used. LEDs need current-limiting resistors to prevent burnout. What does the abbreviation FET stand for? D. Field effect transistor. FET stands for field effect transistor. It is a type of transistor where the current flow between drain and source is controlled by an electric field created by voltage at the gate terminal. FETs are widely used in radio receivers and other electronic circuits due to their high input impedance. What are the names for the electrodes of a diode? B. Anode and cathode. A diode has 2 electrodes, the anode and the cathode. Current flows from anode to cathode, conventional current direction. When the diode is forward biased, the cathode is typically marked with a stripe on the package. These terms come from the electrochemistry and vacuum tube technology. Which of the following can provide power gain? B. A transistor. A transistor can provide power gain. It uses a small input signal to control a larger output signal. effectively amplifying the signal. This is one of the transistor's most important capabilities. Resistors dissipate power. Capacitors store and release energy but don't amplify. Batteries provide power but don't amplify signals. What is the term that describes a device's ability to amplify a signal? B. Gain. Gain is the term that describes a device's ability to amplify a signal. It is the ratio of output signal to input signal. Gain can be expressed as a simple ratio or in decibels, dB. A device with a gain of 10 produces an output 10 times larger than its input. What are the names of the electrodes of a bipolar junction transistor? B. Emitter, base, and collector. A bipolar junction transistor, or BJT, has 3 electrodes: emitter, base, and collector. The base controls current flow between collector and emitter. A small base current controls a much larger collector-emitter current. Don't confuse the FET terminals, drain, source, and gate, or vacuum tube elements, cathode, plate, and grid. Some of our key takeaways for T6B Semiconductors: diode, one-way current flow, anode to cathode. Cathode marked with a stripe. Forward voltage drop varies by type. LED emits light when forward current flows through it. It's a type of diode. BJT transistor, 3 terminals, emitter, base, collector, can switch and amplify signals. FET transistor, 3 terminals, gate, drain, and source, controlled by voltage or electric field. Gain is the ratio of output power to input signal and describes a device's ability to amplify. Semiconductor regions. A transistor has 3 regions of semiconductor material, NPN or PNP.